So today we're going over pivot tables, and pivot tables are just a really good way to summarize and even analyze data. So we have some sample data here that you've probably seen before. It is just some food sale data. We have the order date here, the region, the city, the products, how much of the products were sold, and etc. And we're going to take this data, we're going to summarize it using a pivot table. So I'm going to go over here to our Insert tab and go over to Pivot Table. Now you can use recommended pivot tables, and if you click that, it gives you some recommended options. You know, those might serve your purposes. They very well could. And if you click it and you see one you like, by all means use it. But we're going to make our own today. So we're going to go over to Insert, Pivot Table from Table/Range, and it automatically selected all the data that we wanted. And we're going to put it on a new worksheet, just to make it easier for us to look at. Hit OK, and it's going to automatically put it over in the A3 cell. So if you click out of it and you're like, oh, where'd my stuff go? Go over to A3, and it'll bring it right back up for you. So if you look over here on the right, we have our pivot table fields, and this is what we're going to use to actually build our pivot table. These fields here are the categories from our food sale information at the top, and we're going to use that to build our pivot table. So let's say we want to know the quantity of products sold. So I'll select the quantity field, and I'll put that in the value section. And what that's going to do is the pivot table is going to summarize, it's going to add up all the products and give us a quantity. So a total of 15,442 pieces of product, whether it was, let's see, whether it was carrots or chocolate chip cookies or whatever, 15,442 pieces of product were sold. But let's say we want to know, okay, well, by what city? Okay, it's great that much was sold, but how much of those products were sold per city? And you really can put this data in either columns or rows, up to you. But I'm going to select city here, and I'm going to drop it over in rows. And again, you can put it in columns, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to put it in rows. And we see here that for New York, for example, 4,006 pieces of product were sold out of that 15,442. And we can even go a step further and say, okay, well, we know how much product was sold, and we know how much per city was sold, but how much per individual product, per cookies, per carrots were sold. So I can grab this product here and drag it over to columns, and now we can see that in New York, for example, 1,120 carrots in New York were sold out of that 15,442, out of that quantity. And I can just switch these in and out. So I can take out city, for example, and put in region. And we see here that out of the two regions we have, which is just East and West regions, we can see how much were sold per each category. And I can double up fields. So in the rows section, I can grab city and place it under region. And we see that in the East region, we have Boston and New York, and we see how much were sold in those cities. And the same thing with the West region, we have those cities listed and how much were sold. Now, I will say, when you're here at the bottom in these areas, you can move these around by moving them around in here. And what I mean by that is, if I grab region, move it under city, it changes the way the table is set up. So and it's going to do it like a descending order. It's going to break it down in smaller categories. So obviously region is a bigger category than city, and it still lists those regions out, but it looks better if you switch it out. So when you're building your table, think of it as you want the bigger categories above the littler categories. And I can switch these categories out. So we have city here. Well, I can grab city, drop it back in there, and do region. And now region's bigger than city, so we have less rows but we still have the data broken down like before. And I can double up categories. So if I grab city again, drop it in rows, and we see that out of our 2 regions, we have 2 cities in each region, and the data is broken down based on that. And I can switch these around, so I can grab city and move it over to region, and we see it change the setup of our table. So a good rule of thumb is, try to keep the bigger fields, for example, above the smaller fields. It just makes it more clean and concise, and it makes it flow better. And so what this table has done is it has summed up all of this data for us. Now we can go over to values, to our sum of quantity, and go over to value field settings and change around what we want it to do. Instead of adding everything up, we could ask it to give us an average of all these numbers, and it will. Or we can do, let's say, the maximum of those. What was the maximum sold in each of those cities per category? Another cool thing we could do is we can edit the way this table looks. So if I'm in the table, I can go over to our pivot table tools at the top, hit design, and have all these options. So maybe I can make it red or green or purple. It doesn't really matter. I can band the rows, so it makes it easier to read. I like doing that. That makes it easier to read. I don't ever really use banded columns, but that as well is an option. But you can do banded rows, and let's say I want it, I guess that's a pink, and it's banded rows. And again, that is just a good way to look at it. It's very customizable, very easy to use, and once you get the hang of it, it's a really useful tool to analyze a lot of data. And that's it for this video. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions about pivot tables or anything Excel related, please comment them down below and we'll get to them as soon as we can. We may even do a whole video about it. You never know. But thank you again. Please like and subscribe. And we here at CES hope you have a great day.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our video. Now before you go, how would you like to get free access to tons of Excel content that is designed to help make your life easier and your business better? Free Excel tutorials, Excel PDF guides, mini courses, and even a book I'm writing right now. Well, if you don't want to miss out on those opportunities, make sure you check out the description of this video. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and the notification icon so that you can stay up to date on all the stuff we're doing here on YouTube. Oh, and by the way, my name is Colton Coffin, and I am the founder and CEO here at Custom Excel Spreadsheets, where we help business owners and professionals get more done using tools that do exactly what they need. We help you get organized and automate tasks that save you time and money, and build collaborative tools that allow your team to perform and to engage at a higher level. And we also create some awesome visualizations that just bring your data to life and help it to tell a story that is meaningful and compelling. So I look forward to serving you with more content in the future, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks.